PlayStation might be on the cusp of revealing its very own Game Pass competitor. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jason Schreier of Bloomberg fame strikes again. His recent report details what looks to be a competitor to Game Pass from none other than Sony itself. We're going to dive into his Bloomberg report right now. Schreier writes, PlayStation plans new service to take on Xbox Game Pass. Link in the description below so you can check out the article for yourself. Sony Group Corp's PlayStation division is planning a new subscription service to compete with rival Microsoft Corp's popular Xbox Game Pass, according to people familiar with Sony's plans and documents reviewed by Bloomberg. The service, codenamed Spartacus, will allow PlayStation owners to pay a monthly fee for access to a catalogue of modern and classic games, said the people, who asked not to be identified because they weren't authorized to speak to the press about the plans. The offering will likely be available on the smash hit PlayStation 4, which has sold more than 116 million units, and its elusive successor, the PlayStation 5, which launched more than a year ago, but is still difficult to buy due to supply chain issues. When it launches, expected in the spring, the service will merge Sony's two existing subscription plans, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. Currently, PlayStation Plus is required for most online multiplayer games and offers free monthly titles, while PlayStation Now allows users to stream or download older games. Documents reviewed by Bloomberg suggest that Sony plans to retain the PlayStation Plus branding, but phase out PlayStation Now. Details on Spartacus may still not be finalized, but documentation reviewed by Bloomberg outlines a service with three tiers. The first would include existing PlayStation Plus benefits. The second would offer a large catalog of PlayStation 4 and eventually PlayStation 5 games. The third tier would add extended demos, game streaming, and a library of classic PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games. A representative for PlayStation didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. Although PlayStation has outsold the Xbox in recent years, Sony has lagged behind Microsoft on the subscription front. With this new structure, Sony will look to compete with an Xbox feature that has been popular and lucrative, being Xbox Game Pass. So I think a couple of really interesting bits and pieces out of this report. A lot of industry commentators have been speculating that or suggesting that PlayStation should merge its PlayStation Now subscription service and PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus is really popular for Sony, and they've been inching ever closer to 50 million active subscribers if you pay attention to their quarterly financial reports. PlayStation Now lesser. I think one of the most recent figures we had out of them was from their March earnings report, where they mentioned 3.1 million active subscribers to PlayStation Now. A huge offering on PlayStation Now. I think 800 plus titles, almost half of which can be downloadable, but a couple of caveats with that service, right? You cannot natively download and play PlayStation 3 games. They must be streamed. So a bit inconsistent in its offering compared to something like Game Pass, where every game is able to be downloaded and played, and a lot of the titles available on the service can be played via the cloud as well. To get into my own thoughts now, PlayStation, I feel, really needs to compete with Game Pass, and that's what I want them to do. As someone who's engaged in Game Pass for the long term, I've got a subscription all the way up to 2023. I love the value that service offers. All these day one titles, a huge wealthy catalog of back catalog games, as well as new releases from independent studios and third-party publishers. In my mind, it is the best deal in gaming at the moment, and I want to see PlayStation push the boundaries. I think they still lead the industry in a whole lot of areas, including their first-party output from a quality perspective. They really have the market cornered on single-player, story-driven narrative experiences, and I don't think anyone's taking that away from them anytime soon. But I want to see them expand. I want to see them hook me in new ways. As someone who can't justify spending 750 Australian dollars on a PS5, only then to spend 125 dollars Australian on their new release titles, I wish they found a way to speak to my tastes, my tendencies as a consumer now, and I think subscription services are proving to be a way to do that. So let's think about this offering in a little more detail. Like I said, they have a healthy subscriber base with PlayStation Plus. I think it makes sense to expand upon that, right? Take the functionality of PlayStation Now, tie it into PlayStation Plus, and create something more compelling. The big missing puzzle piece from what this report outlines from Schreier is the fact that it's seemingly not looking as though PlayStation is going to support this new three-tier offering with first-party titles. And you look at any great subscription subscription service and new content, day one releases, are what get people through the door. It's a huge reason why people subscribe to Netflix, to watch their, Netflix produced content day one. It's why people there on Disney Plus, right, subscribing to see the next release of The Mandalorian, or to get access to the new Disney Pixar film that's just released. And Game Pass is no different. For more than 3 years now, Xbox has been releasing its first-party games day and date into the service, both on console and now PC and cloud as well. With PlayStation seemingly not wanting to support the subscription service in that way with first-party day one releases, I don't see this appealing to many more people not already in the PlayStation ecosystem. I think if you are in the PlayStation ecosystem, you're a huge PlayStation fan, maybe you've already got a subscription to PlayStation Plus, this could be a great way to, I suppose, up your subscription tier to whatever level you like and get access to just a whole lot more. You're already spending $60 on a PlayStation Plus subscription as it currently exists. What's an extra $60 to get access to hundreds of more back catalog title that you can just pick and choose from, right? So I think this is a great way to provide more value to an existing PlayStation user base. Will that value translate over to the PC crowd? Like I said, PlayStation now is available on PC and there's already hundreds of titles people can play there, but to the point at the top of the video, they only have 3 million subscribers in PlayStation now, at least as of earlier this year. So clearly that value proposition for a huge back catalogue of older games isn't speaking to the PC audience. Now, you could argue that PlayStation hasn't done any marketing around that. If they do decide to refresh PlayStation now with the PlayStation Plus branding, make a huge push and play into the PC space, maybe they get more subscribers that way. I just think if you are trying to create a competitor to Game Pass, then what is the draw to this PlayStation service on PC when you already look at Game Pass and you see that you're getting day one titles from their first party studios? Maybe you don't like any of the Xbox or Bethesda games for Game Pass and those PlayStation games speak to you more, but to my original point, it's only going to be, at least for now, that very strong back catalog, but still it's a back catalog. Are people going to subscribe to this PlayStation service on PC if you're not getting brand new content frequently delivered like you are Game Pass for PC? So I'd be interested to see how much of this is wholly accurate and what that success translates to on the PC side of things. I think one of the more interesting parts of this new rumored PlayStation service is this third tier offering extended demos, game streaming, and a classic library of games from PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP. Funnily enough, no mention of Vita, oddly enough, so we'll have to see if that makes its way into the service as well. Of course, Xbox offers extensive backwards compatibility across its generation of consoles, going all the way back to the 360 and the original Xbox. It is by no means comprehensive of the entire back catalogue of the original Xbox and 360 generation, but important to note that if you do own those games, you are able to access them as you will, either mostly digitally, but seemingly here for PlayStation, they're going to charge access for this library of classic titles using this third tier. If that part of it's true, I think it is a shame that PlayStation isn't able to offer these backwards compatible titles to anyone within their audience who might already own the games. Having said that, for those people who don't own the games and want to go back and explore, this is a great way to do so, right? So I think it provides value there. I just think it's not in the way that most hardcore, long-time PlayStation fans would probably want, particularly when you compare it to the competition. If I had to take a stab at pricing of this new service, I think PlayStation Plus stays at its $60 annual subscription fee. I think the second tier that incorporates that large back catalog of PlayStation 4 and eventually PlayStation 5 titles will probably sit at the $10 mark, the exact same as Game Pass, right? So in that sense, it'll be the exact same type of value, albeit you don't get the first party day one releases. I think the big missing piece from this puzzle is still the PlayStation first party releases. They don't have to release day one into this new service, but understanding the frequency at which they do, I think would bode well for them. As someone who games on Xbox and PC, I would subscribe to this service if I was able to access the PlayStation first party catalog at a reasonable time frame after day one relaunch. I'm not saying it has to be day one, but if 6 months later I can play Horizon Forbidden West or God of War Ragnarok, then I might subscribe to this service. In fact, I would probably pick up a DualSense controller and start playing those games via PC. But unless PlayStation is willing to be clear on exactly how and when those first-party games will arrive into the service, then I think it's going to be really hard to get the buy-in from someone like me who doesn't engage currently in the PlayStation ecosystem. I look at something like The Last of Us Part 2 that just got added to PlayStation now, I think back in October. That game is falling out of PlayStation Now or being removed in January. So it's only sticking around for about 3 months, which I think is a dying shame. I think if you want to build value for these services, then we need to understand as a consumer the reliability of the content that's going to be there. If Netflix was a bit wishy-washy about, it's like, oh well, Extraction is releasing day one into our service, but it's going to drop out 6 months later. Oh, and also you can watch Squid Games 3 months after it releases elsewhere, and then we're going to take it away from you. I think people would be less likely to engage. It is the reliability of new content that keeps a lot of these people engaged in subscription services and makes it a no-brainer to stay subscribed. So I think if PlayStation can figure that out, then I think it's going to be an attractive, almost must-have service. But based on the fact that we're not seeing their strategy around first-party titles for the moment, I think most people, if a lot of what Schreier reports here is going to be true, are going to remain skeptical. I think they're going to wait until they see what the official communications are on this thing, and I think that's what should happen until we actually get confirmation of what this is actually going to entail. He's hoping we hear about it early in the new year, but I think people are going to remain on the fence and maybe just jump in and out depending on the value that's added or removed as the service continues to grow and change. I'm really happy to see PlayStation step up and take on Xbox Game Pass in a truly meaningful way. Based on the report here, I think this offers tremendous value to existing PlayStation fans. I'm still really skeptical on what value or what hook it gives to people not engaged in the PlayStation ecosystem to subscribe to this. And I think the big missing piece that would get a lot of people on board is those first-party titles. Let me know what you think of Schreier's report in the comments below. Do you think this provides great value to PlayStation's ecosystem and the PlayStation fan base as it currently exists? And do you think it could appeal to non-PlayStation gamers? Here's hoping we get some more juicy reports like this in the near future so we can do more videos like this one. If you have enjoyed this, guys, please consider hitting that like button so it really helps out the channel, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.